Coast to coast, border to border, and around the world, it's time for The Bill Alexander Show. The Bill Alexander Show is a guest-driven program where the topics are diverse and entertaining. Laugh and learn while you listen to one of the best hours of online radio. Now, here's your host, Bill Alexander.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Bill Alexander Show with yours truly, William Eric Alexander. All my friends call me Bill, and it's so great to have you back on the program. Well, this one is really interesting because we have an individual who was in a program, played by another person in a program, and she's also an animal medium, which is really unique in itself because I don't understand what that is. But on the other end of the screen right now, we have Terri Jay. Terri, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing real well. So the first thing I want to get out there is I mentioned you are a medium and you work with animals. How does that work?
I started out just wanting to do animal communication. Animal communication led to veterinary intuition. And then it led into what you described as animal mediumship, where you communicate with animals that have passed away, which is really interesting. And then it just spiraled out of control after that. I did medical intuition, remote viewing, map dowsing, intuitive communication. There's pretty much nothing in the intuitive realm I won't do, except for predictions and police work.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, predictions are unethical due to the law of attraction. The law of attraction states what you think about to bring about. And so if I see wonderful things for somebody and I tell them, they might stop working toward that because Terri said it was going to happen.
Right.
And if I see something terrible and I tell them, if them yelling no, no, no at it, not wanting it to happen, will pull it to them.
Okay.
You know, what we resist persists. So it's dangerous either way.
And why not police work?
It's yucky. It's negative. if you
is that the official term? It's yucky.
You may quote me. You may quote me on that. Yeah, because it's awful. And you have to tune into the perps in order to get any information. And you feel like you need to go take a shower in lye water or something.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm too sensitive for that. I don't even watch violence on TV. About the most violence I can watch would be like a demolition on a home. That would be the most violence that I can handle.
So this program that you are a part of is called Paul T. Goldman. Can you explain to me what this is all about?
Well, I did a reading for Paul way back in 2005. He had gotten married and his brand new bride was insisting on having her name put on all of his assets. And so he called me because he was just really confused why she was being so insistent about this. Well, when I tuned into her, I said, ew, it's like she wants to get paid for sex, but she doesn't want the money on the dresser. She wants your stuff. Right. And so he said, that's my wife. I said, I don't care. I said, she isn't who she says she is. And so that sent him off on a journey of discovery to find out really who she was. And when he found out, I don't think he was ready for it. But it was very interesting.
So you are actually in part of the story about Paul. Now, the story about Paul is basically his life.
Yes.
Of trying to find love and doing this kind of thing. And how did you, I mean, when they approached you and said, Terri, we want you to be in this and we're going to have Dee Wallace play you and then we're going to have you react to what she did.
That was all very last minute. That happened, I think, last June is when they had me do that. They were here in Carson Valley in 2017 doing a lot of the filming of me. And then Paul was here too. So they had a lot of interactions of Paul and I together while he was here in Carson Valley. And so I was trying to shoot my lines way back then, and I'm horrible at it. Off the cuff, not a problem. You want me to memorize lines and say them? I can't do it. So when they told me they were going to get actors and actresses to play the principal characters in there, except for Paul, I was relieved. I was really relieved. And then when they wanted me to come down and watch someone play me, I thought, okay. And it wasn't until the last minute that I found out it was Dee. And oh God, they couldn't have picked anybody better. They really couldn't. She's incredible.
one thing that Dee said is that she had goosebumps because she was able to connect with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and both of us do the same type of work. We don't do it the same way, but we do the same type of work. She does energy healing and
Right.
readings and all that stuff. And so, yeah, like I said, they couldn't have picked anybody better. And it was really interesting to meet her. And we did readings for each other. It was really fun.
So is this the first film you've been in?
No, that's funny you should ask. But in 1986, when I was the director of the Wild Horse Commission for the state of Nevada, I was actually in Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the wild horse killings. Yeah, it was awful. It was brutal.
Now, did you have to memorize lines for that, or was that all off
Oh
the
no,
cuff?
no, nope. It was just interviews off the cuff, so it was not a problem.
So I've talked to people in the past who really weren't actors to begin with, but they got pushed into it. Has the bug bitten you that you want to go do this more?
The only thing I want is my own show, and
Okay.
I want my own show so that I can help people. There's so many times where I do a reading for somebody, and then the next day I do a very similar reading, and I think, is this no, that was yesterday? Wait, because it's the same kind of issues, same kind of problems. So
Right.
I think a lot of people can benefit from the information that I'm able to discern. And a lot of the solutions that I offer, they're very similar because they work. I've been at this over 30 years, so I know what can really help people to heal their lives and heal their animals' lives. And I want to share that.
A while back, I had the opportunity to speak with John Edwards, who had his own TV program in the 80s and 90s doing the same thing. And for some reason, it seemed like the interest disappeared or waned and it stopped. And now you're starting to see it all over again. So do you feel that this type of work that you do is becoming more acceptable again?
I do. I think there's more interest in it. I think more people are more accepting of it. My work is not woo-woo at all. Their work is very woo-woo. And they say, oh,
Right.
yes, I'm special and I have gifts. And I just go at that because they don't. I have 3 books that teach people how to do this for themselves.
Uh-huh.
And so if I'm able to teach it, then you're not special. And maybe
Right.
short
Oh,
bus special.
that's true. That's true.
Maybe short bus special, but not special. So I love to teach it, and I don't think I'm any, hot
So
stuff for doing this.
so how do you teach someone? How do you get them to tune into this?
I have a 7-step process. My first book is The Cowgirl Shaman Way, 7 Easy Steps to Develop Your Intuitive Ability. And it teaches you step by step how to get out of your own way, how to get out of ego, how to not have any preconceived notions. And you just go through those 7 steps and you get grounded. You have to learn how to do grounding, and that makes you more clear, and you're off and running. When I do my workshops, it's so fun because the morning is answering questions. I had the book for weeks, but
Right.
the morning is questions. In the afternoon, I pair people up and they do readings for each other.
Oh, that's
That
interesting.
fast.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Because the one thing I've noticed too, and I've had readings done actually this way via screen or via telephone. And sometimes I just wonder if they're responding to what I'm saying and they're able to read in between the lines, I guess you'd say, and they're really not making any connection whatsoever. Are you able to do it through a screen?
I don't like to. It's interesting you
Okay.
bring that up. I would rather connect energetically. My work is completely based in physics, energy, frequency, and vibration. And so I would rather connect energetically. Even if I go to somebody's property to read their horses, I'm going to get 50, 100 feet away and turn my back
Okay.
because I don't want to be looking at the horses while I'm doing the reading. And people are like, aren't you going to go over there and look? No, we'll do that after. When I'm all done, then we'll go say hello and give them cookies. But
So what made you, I mean, how did you know you had this ability?
I didn't. Oh my goodness. I've always been involved in horses. I've been a professional horse person my whole life. And in 1990, I was doing a horseback therapy program with disabled kids. And I picked a kid up out of his wheelchair and put him on the back of one of the horses. And he said, ouch, I have a cramp in my hip. And I said, you have a cramp? Well, here, sit this way. It'll take the cramp out. And he said, hey, you can hear me. I said, well, of course I can hear you. It didn't dawn on me. He was completely nonverbal. So
Interesting.
yeah. So we did our thing. And him and I carried on a conversation the whole time. Of course, I was out loud. He was in his head.
Right.
And so I took him off the horse, put him in his wheelchair. He went back to class. And the gal that was helping me said, boy, he's sure talking great. I said, well, he's very bright. Just because he has CP doesn't necessarily mean he has any cognitive issues. And she looked at me and she said, Terri, he didn't say a word. He can't, remember? And I always joke that if I was a horse, I would have done a buck fart snort. Because when they're spooked, they do all three of those things at one time. It's hilarious to watch, really. But anyway, I went into the classroom and they put a band around his head with a pointer, and he had typed out on his computer, "Horse lady can hear me." So they didn't know my name; they knew I was the horse lady.
Right.
And so I stood there very aware that I was carrying on a conversation with him, and you could have knocked me over with a feather. But I went back outside and shared what had happened in the classroom. And the gal just said, well, you ought to learn to communicate with the horses, but that's the same thing. And all animals are telepathic, which was news to me at the time. And like an idiot, I just said, okay, like that's what I'm going to go do. And there were no books at the time. Seriously, Bill, there were no books on this, maybe one or two books that you could read and study. And so I was really starting from scratch.
So when people approach you about their animals, what are they looking for you to do?
I pretty much do everything, the gambit of them from birth all the way to it's time to euthanize. I help with decisions on euthanasia. I help them, basically find or know that their animal that's passed has returned to them in a new physical form. That's really fun. And there's a lot of times when veterinarians really don't know what's wrong with an animal, and I get it, and I'm able to share that. A lot of people don't know that horses still need to have chiropractic adjustments. They're not designed by nature to be ridden or carry weight. And so there's a lot of times I tune into performance horses and they're in agony. They've started bucking and biting and kicking and rearing, and they've just gotten nasty, and people think the horses are butt heads, and they're just in pain. Right. So I help them to locate where the problems are and develop a treatment plan for them so they can get a chiropractor, get somebody that does microcurrent therapy, it's called AccuScope, and make the horse feel better so that it can perform.
So are people skeptical of this, that they say that this is just hocus pocus, whatever? Are they skeptical, but yet you're able to convince them by the success that you've had?
I can't even try to convince them. I would be way out of line if I tried to do that. All I do is do my work. And if they choose to accept it, that's fine. If they choose not to, that's fine too. Because otherwise I'm an ego, and ego means easing God out. And I just would never do that. Usually the people that come to me, sometimes they're desperate. And I had one lady go, I don't believe in this S that you do, but you're my only hope.
Right. And I get it.
Yeah. But, and so like that horse had really bad TMJ. It was so bad he wasn't eating, and they were going to euthanize him because they thought he had a virus. He needed a chiropractor for his freaking jaw. That's all.
Wow.
He got adjusted and started eating an hour later. So that was a good success story.
That is good. I mean, because I don't deal with horses. I have dogs, and I lost one of my favorite ones this past spring. Fall. She developed cancer out of nowhere. Right. And she was only 3 years old, and it was a sad situation. And it would have been wonderful. I mean, we had a connection because she was always with me. We called her Shadow because she was always by my side. And it would have been nice to be able to have that understanding that you were doing the right thing when we did euthanize her, because it was very difficult for me to do that. And I understand.
It should be. Bill, it should be difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I'm sick of that dog. I'm going to put it down. No,
right. No, that's a 15 to 20 year commitment. Trust me.
Yes, absolutely. Now the dog comes back. If you get a new puppy, the dog will go into that puppy. If you've got other dogs, the dog spirit will go into one of your other dogs, or both. There's only one rule when it comes to reincarnation, and that's with God, all things are possible. Seriously. That's the only rule. So you can put 10 spirits in one body, one spirit in 10 bodies.
I'll be darned. I have one right now. It's not my dog, it's my son, but my son is traveling, so the dog's living with me. and it's Australian Shepherd, and it is the most rambunctious thing in the world.
They
It's just
are.
over a year, and it's like, I would love to know what the dog's thinking just so I can understand why he is doing what he's doing, because we say, oh, he's just a puppy and so on and so forth.
No,
But
they
there
get the
has to,
zoomies. They get the
they have to
zoomies.
be,
That's a working dog. People
yeah.
don't think about that. That's a working
Mhm.
dog. So
But there has to be a rhyme and a reason. I mean, it's just trying
yeah,
to figure it out.
yeah. You just got to give the dog a job. Take it to doggy daycare a couple
Hmm.
days a week and wear it out. That's why I think that's why they came up with doggy daycare, because people's schedules are so busy that they don't
Yeah.
have time to just get the piss and vinegar out of their dogs.
I
So
don't
it's
think
a
I've
good
ever
thing.
heard of that phrase before, piss and vinegar. I like that. I think I'm going to start using that.
If
Uh,
you're in proper company, you say P and V.
okay, I like that one too. I never thought of that. No, I have two. I have a Dutch Shepherd, which is a beautiful all
Oh,
black.
they're
Love this dog.
gorgeous. They're
And then we
gorgeous.
have the pure Australian Shepherd, and they both get along, but
Right.
the Australian just tires out the other one. I mean, it's
Oh
just
goodness, yes.
constant movement, and because he's a puppy, he's just totally way much over. So, are there certain animals that you won't deal with?
Haven't found any so far.
I mean,
I've done a lot of exotics. I really love talking to elephants. They're so incredibly brilliant. Oh my goodness. They're really, really amazing to talk to.
mhm.
And I love to even just be in their vicinity so you could feel the rumbles just go right through you when they're talking to each other. Oh, I love it. So good.
Um, have you? Because the one thing I thought of is like, have you ever talked to a goldfish? Because like
Yeah.
we hear they only have their memory is so short. Is
You
that
know,
true?
I've talked with fish and like lizards,
Uh-huh.
um, and most of their concerns are just survival concerns. Is
Okay.
the water clean? Do they have food?
Right.
Do they have somebody else to run around with? Those kinds of things. I talked to I think it was a salamander one time, and it was so weird because he told me he was cold, which I thought was really strange, but
Right.
he said he was cold and he didn't know what he was. He did not know what he was. So I was
Okay.
able to give him the word salamander, and I made the recommendation that they got another one because he was like clueless as to what he was. Isn't that
And
amazing?
that would make sense. That makes all the sense in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, it
Um,
really does.
so when you teach people to do this, are you teaching them to do it with humans, or are you teaching them to also do it with animals?
It's all the same. It doesn't matter if you're talking. I mean, here's an example, and please don't send me letters about slamming nonverbal autistic kids. But
Right.
when I communicate with autistic kids, they communicate the same way as like a dog would. And it's a visual image, a taste, a smell, a sound, a feeling. And the feeling's either tactile or pain, or it's an emotion. So they give you those sort of pulses of information. And it's exactly the same when you're talking with a dog or a cat or a horse. So it's pretty much the same thing. So when you realize that words don't mean anything to a nonverbal autistic person, it opens all kinds of doors, because it's like, well, wait a minute, if I can send them a visual image instead of a word, then you're going to make progress a lot faster. I mean, think about Temple Grandin. She was born autistic, and she's got 1 or 2 PhDs. I mean, she's freaking
Hmm.
brilliant. And she could communicate with the animals before she could communicate with people. And she just thought that was just perfect, that it wasn't an issue.
So when we talk about that, and I understand with the one child you told me in the beginning, he went in and he was able to say, or at least communicate in a way that everybody else understood, that
Right.
the horse lady understood him. But in situations where you don't get a verbal response, are you looking at facial expressions and
Oh,
body
no, that's
language?
why.
That's
No, 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 no. That's why I want to do this over the phone. I mean, I really want to
okay.
have my own TV show. And I just think, oh God, I have to do it in person. Well, maybe I could
Right.
turn around or put a bag over my head or something. So I'm not looking at anything. because I just really want to feel the energy of it. It's all
See,
based in physics, energy, frequency, vibration.
so how do you tell somebody what this energy feels like?
I teach them how to do it, and they'll
Okay.
get it. And I think the biggest thing that people miss when they're trying to learn how to do this communication, say with their dog or their cat, is they want to have a conversation like humans do. You know, I talk, you wait, you talk, I wait. That's a
Right.
conversation, right? Well, with animals, it's over the top. It's should I, oh, what about, oh, do you, oh, it's that fast. And so that's why people miss the communication with their
Okay.
animals. Yeah. It's really
Um,
funny too. My mom passed away. I know I'm laughing because she passed away. No, I'm not.
right.
Anyway, my mom passed away, and we have coffee together every morning at 8 o'clock. And she will draw my attention to a clock somewhere every morning, 8 o'clock, without a doubt. It never fails. We've been doing this since she passed, and she's been gone 4 years, I think, 4 years. No, longer than that. But anyway, it's so funny because my birthday was just recently, and I went, oh, I gotta have crab's legs. And it was like, I don't like crab's legs. She liked crab's legs. So she was sending me the visual, the taste, the
Right.
drawn butter so that I would go have crab's legs for her. And she does this, victim thing. Oh, I'm living vicariously through you. And it's like, oh,
Gotcha.
BS. She's not. She's just teasing. But she does that stuff to see if I'm getting it, to see if I'm paying attention to what she's
Okay.
telling me.
Have you done a reading with an animal that you realize you may have misinterpreted something and it wasn't what they or what you originally thought they were trying to communicate?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I'm the one thing that I think I'm pretty good at is getting out of my own way and not having any preconceived notions,
Okay.
because that's what gets you in trouble. That's because I've tuned into old dogs, and you just tune into them, and they act like frickin' puppies, and you're not getting any health issues, and you're thinking, God, this dog should be arthritic and have
Right.
kidney and liver problems, and you're getting nothing. And so that stuff happens. But I'm pretty good at listening to my guides, and my guides will scream at me if I'm on the wrong track. They really will. And I'm good at listening to them too, because they seldom steer me wrong. So I think that's, part and parcel of this work is tuning into your guides too.
What you're telling me is fascinating, because it's like I would love to be able to do what you do. The books that you've written, are they basically instructions on how to do it?
Well, it's background. Like, this is how I got into it, wrong place at the
Okay.
wrong time.
Okay.
So I do tell my story about how I got into it. And then, like with the book on intuitive communication, we have 7 to 9 million people in the US that can't communicate due to illness, injury, or disease. That's a lot of people that could use that book. And so that book talks about the different medical conditions, and I'm talking about consciousness, awareness. I go into all the medical stuff about it, and then I go, okay, just throw that out the window. There's 3 levels to pay attention to. So I
Okay.
make it really simple. And I even had a medical editor on that one to make sure I was doing everything kosher. And then the medium book was the one I published last year. It's called The Physics of Mediumship, because I really wanted to take the woo-woo out of it, because there's
Right.
so much misinformation. When somebody dies, they shed off all their negativity, right? And that negativity looks like, feels like, and sounds like the deceased. But it's not, it's their garbage. And too many mediums don't have discernment. And they will tune into that negative energy garbage and go, oh, your loved one is stuck and had unfinished business. And, oh, they have regrets and they haven't crossed over. And no, you're dumpster diving, because everybody goes immediately to the other side, immediately.
Okay.
And
And what
so nobody's stuck. Nobody needs help crossing over. I mean, all of that is BS. People ask, what's a ghost? And I go, it depends. Are you talking about the perfect essence of who the person was when they were in earthly form, that they're just a non-physical being? Or are you talking about all of that negative energy garbage that can coalesce and congeal and take on substance and do things like throw things and be a poltergeist?
Mhm.
So one is negative energy, one is positive energy. And it's so easy and simple when you figure that out. I mean, I talk to dead people all day. I don't need to go into a haunted house at 4 a.m. to do it, right?
Well, I live in a house that's 130 years old, and before my wife and I bought it, the original family lived here from when it was built to when we bought it. So there was
Oh my
always
goodness.
original family. And the last owner of the house, she passed away in the house.
Oh, okay.
And to
So you
this
need to
to
clear
this
it.
day, well, to this day, we've been here now 21 years. I think she's still here, but I think she's happy being here
Very
because
possible.
I occasionally I can feel something around me,
Uh-huh.
and it's not a scary feeling or anything
No.
else. It's very joyful and very present, and also sometimes very protective. And it's like, I've said this to people, and my wife feels the same way, and they look at me and go, "You're crazy," and I'm going, "No,
No.
there's someone here, trust me."
Yeah. If in order to clear the negative energy, which everybody should do,
Right.
it's really helpful to burn Epsom salts and Everclear. And I
Oh,
offer
interesting.
clearing instructions to anybody who wants. It's just you have to be very careful because you're sloshing around a flaming liquid. So you need to be very careful.
So if
But
you
the
have
way
the
that
Everclear left over, you drink it or you
no,
just burn it.
no, no. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't
I mean,
recommend it.
I have a bottle in the other room. That's why I asked.
Well, now you can use it to clear your house.
There you go. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Just get some Epsom salts. And when you do that, the crystals attract the negative energy, and then the Everclear acts as a catalyst, once you light it, to send the negativity to the ethers. So it's
I'll
very
be
clearing,
darned.
very clearing. Yeah, it's a
S-
good thing to do. Better than
So,
saging.
so to get the full effect of what you're teaching, you literally have to do it in person.
No, no, I've had people get my book and then say, "Can I sign up for a training?"
Right.
And I'll say, "Well, what do you need help with?" And they'll tell me, to go, "You don't need training. Just book a half hour and I'll help you. Just a half hour reading or an hour reading, and then I just work with them that way." So I used to do the training sessions all the time before COVID hit, and I just haven't gotten back into doing it. Just
Okay.
too busy doing readings. But I love to teach it to people because it takes the woo-woo out of it. It makes it so simple. It's based in science. I
Right.
mean, it couldn't be any easier, really.
I am just fascinated because, like I said, I've talked to people in the past, and they make it sound so mystical that only certain people can do it. Now talking to you, it's like anybody can do it. They just have to have a willingness to do it.
Right. But we have to remember, Bill, fear sells.
Okay.
Fear sells. Okay. Our politicians do it. Government officials do it. Religious leaders do it. Fear sells. So when we only have two choices, we're going to live in love or live in fear. Those are the only two choices we have. All the negative emotions are fear-based. All the positive emotions are love-based. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to choose love every time.
Oh,
And
I understand that. Yeah.
yeah, and so when people feel that they have to make themselves, more mystical or more woo-woo. I mean, my publisher and I went around because I wanted the subtitle of my medium book to be, it's the physics of mediumship, but I wanted the subtitle to be "Cut the Woo-Woo Crap." That's what I wanted for the subtitle. He said, no, we're not doing that. But after a while and really reading it and studying it and going
Mhm.
through it, he went, "You're right. We really need it." And I said, "No, not on the cover. You can do it on
Right.
the inside." So he did. He put it on the inside
On the
cover.
inside.
Yeah,
Well,
he's so cute.
so
So he did
Terri, it's
good.
been a joy really to talk to you tonight. I'm so glad you were able to join me.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
so much. I'm sorry about the hiccup, but
oh,
they
not a
happen.
problem. Not
They
a problem.
happen.
So you're in this program that is on Apple TV
No, it's on
and
Peacock.
or on Peacock. I'm sorry, I was
Yeah,
looking
it's
at
on
something
Peacock.
else. Okay, Peacock. And have people that you know watch it, like friends of yours watch it? Have they said anything to you about it?
Nope, not a word. Just some of my clients have seen it and they went, "I don't like the ending." And I go, "Well, some of it's made up. You have
Oh,
to
is it really?
determine for yourself
Okay.
what parts are true and what parts aren't." So I actually had a client sign up for a reading, and then he canceled it because he wrote, I've seen enough. And I went, oh, he watched the last episode. So he canceled his reading. And I'm like, boo-hoo, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, because
right.
I'm not worried. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting when that happened tonight. I started laughing. I busted up laughing when he was canceling because of what he saw in the last episode. Like, okay, bye-bye.
Well, that tells me that when I do watch it, I can't go to the last episode first like I do on some programs. So.
No, don't do that. I'm a lot in the third. I'm tons in the third, and that's where I watch Dee play me. And oh, she's so cute. She did such a good job. She really did.
I think it's kind of cool that you can say the mother in E.T. played you. I mean, really, that's.
I know. And now we're friends. I mean, she's really helped me a lot.
That's cool.
I know.
That really is. That really is.
Yeah.
Well, Dee, can you tell my audience how they can get in touch with you and how they can find you?
It's my website is the best way. It's just my name, TerriJay.com. And be sure to check out the press kit. There's lots of videos and other podcasts that I've done, and some my sizzle reel, my trailer, all that stuff is on there, so you can really see how I work and what it looks like and everything. So I'm just really excited. I made a really good connection tonight, so I might be on my way. We'll see.
Well, again, Terri, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure, and I'd love to have you back on the program again.
Anytime.
I'm going to grab a book. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to see if I can do it, and then I'll have you back on to tell me so we can talk about it. So.
Oh, I'd love to. That sounds like so much fun. Because when people get out of their own way and get out of ego and everything, and then they start doing it, it's like they don't trust it, because like, I got that too fast. That's the stuff you want to trust, is the stuff that you get really fast. So it's pretty cool.
So again, Terri, thank you very much. It was a real pleasure. Good luck with everything. And like I said, maybe you'll become a TV star or a movie star now with all this.
Okay, I'm ready.
That or get your own program. I think you doing your own program would be kind of interesting too.
Well, I'm a manifesting bitch, so I'm really going to work hard at manifesting it. I almost said something else, but
hey, Terri, you have a great night, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You too, Bill. It was really great working with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, a big thank you goes out to Terri Jay. What a blast that was to talk to her this evening about her appearance in the program on Peacock called Paul T. Goldman. Again, that was quite enjoyable to be able to talk to her about that and her interaction with Dee Wallace, who actually plays her in the program. And then we also talked to her about her medium and her communication with animals. That is great. And I think if everybody can do it, that's something we probably should look into. And again, if you want to find out more information about Terri Jay, all you have to do is go to her website, which is Terri Jay, TerriJay.com. Guys, you have a great night. We'll talk to you next time here on The Bill Alexander Show.
Thank you for listening to The Bill Alexander Show. The Bill Alexander Show is a $1 Million Baby production. For more information, go to thebillalexandershow.com.